Hey everyone, Sam Cinevelli, HOM Fencing. Welcome back to Can Haz Armory. Today, going to go over mask and glove checks. When you go to an event and you're checking the bout table, always ask, or after that's done, where's weapons control? Where's mask and glove check? And they'll direct you whoever's doing it. So this video is so the fencer can know what's going to happen to his gear, and those doing the checks, what to look for. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so first let's talk about what constitutes a failure versus a not pass. They're different. Not passing is something like a hole in the material that can be patched, dead spot in lame, missing rivet in the mask, a missing strap in the mask, that kind of thing. That can be fixed, and then the item passes. A failure is, it's dead, Jim. You get the tricorder, I'll get the wallet. It's not usable ever again. And there's a big difference between the two. Let's look at gloves first, okay? What we're looking for in gloves is damage to the material that may allow the entry of a blade into the glove and therefore possibly into your arm. We don't want that happening. We're not concerned with the body cord slot, which I'll get to in a bit, or ventilation holes down the side of the fingers, which are a design feature. We're concerned about busted seams, loose flaps of material that may catch a point, and holes in the material. So here's a foil glove. This one does have a small rip right there. Now I determine if it's a not pass. Take my mask probe, and if it goes into the hole like that, all the way in, that is a not pass. That can be fixed by sewing it shut, putting a patch over it, or gluing it. Okay. Other things that are not passes that are fixable are the flap here coming loose, or busted seams. So kids, get a sewing kit, learn how to sew, because if it happens at an event, I'll give you my kit and let you have fun. These are all fixable, not a problem. The body cord slot does exist. It is still legal. Okay, here's what happened to the body cord slot. A number of years ago, FIA was going to outlaw the slot. In anticipation of this rule passing, all the manufacturers took the slot out. This is why you don't find them being made with a slot anymore. However, FIA never passed that rule, nor did USFA. Therefore, the slot is still legal. The fact that manufacturers took the slot out doesn't mean it's illegal. It means they took the slot out. So if it's a really large one, like this big, armors may ask you to sew the hole a little smaller, close part of it off, but it's still legal. That's not a problem. The reason it's that big, it might have been a point. That's what they're getting rid of the slot. So that's the issue there. Is tape okay? No, it is not to fix a hole. Why? Because the tape comes up. It might be covering a larger hole. If you sew a hole closed and put tape around it, that's fine, because that's going to be covering the stitch. You may be asked to pull the tape back to show the holes closed up. Okay, that's what happened for these gloves. For Saber gloves, we're not entirely certain yet. We're just now starting to see damage, little holes through them. The problem with the Saber glove is the requirement is 800 Newton fabric, which most people don't have on them. If it's a small hole you can sew shut, or a glued flap, that's one thing. If it's a big hole, requires a patch. That we don't know how we're going to deal with yet. I've talked to one of the national head techs, and he's just now considering the idea. I'm sure we'll revisit it at the end of the season, because some of the gear is starting to wear now. But as of right now, I'm not seeing any holes. He's seen a few of them. It's not an issue yet. It probably will be eventually as stuff ages, and hopefully we'll come to some consensus on the national level what to do with the hole if a patch is required on 800 Newton Saber glove. Next, look at masks next. Okay, masks, the big one. What are we looking for? We're looking for broken wires, missing strands of wire, holes in the material, missing rivets, missing mask strap, things of that nature. And the big one is passing the punch test. Okay, here's what the punch looks like. This is an Omen closed-end probe. Okay, this is the probe right here. Little wire in the mesh of the mask. That's the shoulder right here. It's got a closed end, has a 12 kilogram spring inside, about 28 pounds of pressure it puts on it. I prefer this one because I just push it all the way down, all the way up, and there's no fiddling with it. There is a different version called a Leon Paul, which has an open end here. You put your thumb over that and then push down. When you feel the interior probe touch your thumb, you stop pushing, because then it's pushing the pressure on it. I prefer this one. If I'm not paying attention, it doesn't do any other damage. So for the mask, first we're going to do is I'm going to look up through the inside of the mask at a light source. I'm looking for, again, strands out of place, missing strands, a hole, which this one happens to have. Then I'm going to feel for any dings and dents that may catch a point, which is also bad. Basically, make sure no rivets are missing, especially on Saber with the cheek plate here. Make sure the bass strap is there. And then no holes in the bib. The trim is tight. I might do this and see if they feel the weld breaking. And then we pull the probe out. And here's the probe on the mask. Here's it passing. all the way down, all the way up. Now this stick is fine, okay? That's not a problem. But notice I go all the way down to the shoulder and back up. That's fine. If it pops back up, you're good. A failure looks like this. You hear it go tink, and that is what a failure looks like. All the way down to the shoulder of the probe, okay? That mask is dead. What else kills a mask? This. The tongue is basically, you can see the wire right here. It's not very thick wire. It's about yay thick. Wraps around, and it's welded in 2 spots up here and supported by the rivet, and that's it. So this one actually broke. This one is no longer usable. Okay, you can put on a test dummy for practice, but it should never go on a person's head again. If this mask fails with the tongue or the failed probe, even if it's back here on the offhand side, doesn't matter. A broken wire also is an immediate failure. This mask is confiscated. I will write failed in big friendly letters here. Across here, if it's Leon Paul with the exchange mask, and the bibs can be taken out. And then you will not get this mask back until the end of the tournament, because you are not fencing with on my watch. Why? We don't want another Smirnoff. Okay, we're a very safe sport for a reason, because armors are anal about this kind of stuff. So that's what the mask check does. That's how to do it. As far as applying the probe, for the guys doing the check, perpendicular to the mask surface, not at an angle. You're not trying to fail the probe, so you down and up. I tend to test 3 spots on each side, basically eyes, cheek, and mouth. Some people go on the side as well. The important thing is you check consistently. We hear talks about, if you hit it all the time, you're going to break the mask. You have to lay in a lot of time in the same spot in order for the effect of the weave. It's pretty tight. And finally, a note about FIE masks. FIE masks do not have to be checked with the probe at an FIE level tournament. You can feel them for any dings and dents, make sure nothing's missing, no loose trim, no missed rivets, yada, yada, yada. But the rules do allow the armor to check any gear he suspects. My personal policy is, if it hits my desk, this is going on it. I'm checking it. Same with the gloves. That's how you do the control checks. As always, happy armoring.